That's what I'm trying to do. Is it ain't going good. You know, resource, right? How about the city, but you I respect it. They give me a city. It's okay. Now my chick, when I walk in the bank, they be me at the door. When I go to me, right? I make a promise I'm never gonna change. But I'm hoping it, right? Right back on, sound like on, come to a horn, dance to the sun, that won't you know? I can put that one, how does I hand that, man, that hand that, yeah, I'm back. I done got rich, everybody might could need some of the wise in me, my blood. They chop up a week, but I call it a cutter. I jump out the move, I went bought another, my moves, she happy now. Ain't no carry out, we run it back, we the high stage, oh, it ain't moving, say, you know you see that they been trying to make it, like, you don't know hit me, hit like your money, that shit ain't gon' save me, but I'm gonna blame it, all I know is keep it going. Now stay at the Intercontinental. Anything I got is not a rental. I own it all. Figure it out. Simple. Stop me going up like a crescendo. A bunch of handshakes from the face. But I do not want to be Frisco. I tell y'all all. It's not a love song. This is strip on the big love song. This was the hell of a holy first song. Pop some champagne in the sun song. Just because
What's the move? Can I tell the truth? If I'm doing this for you, then I got nothing left to prove. Nah, this for me though. I'm just trying to stay alive and take care of my people. And they don't have no more for that. Trophies. And they don't have no more for that. Don't come with trophies, ain't no mama.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Highlander Stadium for tonight's high school lacrosse matchup between the Frisco Black Bears and your Highland Park Scots. Frisco Black Bears, represented by head coach Tom Hickman. Highland Park Scots, represented by head coach Spencer Parks and assistant coach Matt Reeves. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast of Game On Sports. We have got our final home game here for the 2026 season for the Highland Park Scots Gold team. And they will take on Frisco tonight on a chilly, overcast evening here in Dallas, Texas. It's been drizzling and raining all day. Rain finally giving up and moving out about 4 o'clock today. So the field's going to be damp, a little bit slick, but no rain forecast for the rest of the evening and absolutely no wind. So we should have a good game here tonight. And your Highland Park Scots taking the field in warm-up or for the starting lineup announcements, waiting on Frisco. And while we wait on Frisco, we are going to take a quick break as well, and we will be back at the start of the action. All right, folks, we are back with the action. Sorry about that. Had to grab a quick Frisco roster. Did not have that in my packet, but we are underway here at the Highland Park Highlander Stadium. Parker Avizo and Addison are two usual short stick D middies out here to start the ball game. Parker forces them down behind X, as Frisco patiently works it around. Stafford Thomason out there guarding the ball carrier. Slide comes. That was Jackson Harris getting the deflection, unable to locate the ball afterwards. 28 seconds here on the shot clock. Parker Avizo denies topside and forces him down the alley. Good ball movement here by Frisco. Shot goes wide. Back up by Frisco. 18 seconds to go on the clock. Mason Carbajal there. Good slide by Addison. Continues to get inside. Doesn't hit any iron. 8 seconds to go on the clock. And we'll see if Frisco opts to continue to play or dump it. And the shot goes wide. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Scotty's ball. So clears have been a bit of a mixed bag this year, with Highland Park doing better as of late. Parker Avizo legs it over there and successfully clears the first opportunity here for the Scots. Dangerous roll, but picked up by Henry Leinart. Offensive personnel comes in. That's 21, Max Vogues, 19, Blake Sontag, and number 3, Henry Leinart, along with Beckett Farrell, Ben Coates, and Warner Binns as your attackmen. Sontag coming down. Warner unable to pick up that ball. And turnover, Highland Park Scots. Frisco comes in as an overall record of 6-8. They're 4-5 in district play. Most recent game out has been against Rockwall, which they lost 10-9. They beat Episcopal ESD 13-2. Down the alley, they force them. Shot goes wide. And Blake Jackson able to secure the ball. 16 Blake Jackson, our junior captain, in goal to start the game. They had started with Blake playing the first halves and Jacob Musa in the second half. In the first 10 to 12 ball games here lately, they've gone to a 1-1 where each goaltender has been able to have the net for an entire game. So we're not sure what the strategy is for tonight. We'll just keep an eye on it. Both very capable goaltenders. Max Vogues here with the ball. Shake into the middle. Finds Warner Benz. Low shot off the post. That's going to be a shot clock reset. A fresh 80 for the Highland Park Scots. Henry Leinart looking to get into the middle. Coates down to Beckett Farrell. Beckett dancing behind X, looking for a cutter. Warner Benz on the far side. Takes the left-handed shot, goes stick high. Frisco able to catch that one all the way. No problem there for number 22, Aaron Tellez. He's a goalie. He's a junior. Saw that one into his stick the whole way. Jackson Harris, the LSM 14 out there pushing out on the ball carrier. Parker Vizo comes in. Max Vogues, 21, is the other short stick on defense. We don't see him back on defense often. Thomason with the trail check. Might be a hold. Looks like they are going to catch him with a hold here. Just a loose ball hold.
Takeaway check by Thomason.
So you're allowed to check that stick, but you can't pin it down to the ground. And there you saw it was pinned down, and he held on to it. So referees blow the whistle, reward the ball back to Frisco. Mason Carbajal. Big bounce shot. Backup's going to be won by Frisco. 54 seconds left to go on the clock.
Good defense by Arvizo, forces shot out of bounds. Excuse me, pass out of bounds, possession out of park.
Scotty's ball. Scott's working on getting their offensive personnel in. It's Mac Mason, 25, with the ball here up top again. Over to Warner Benz. Warner's got a lot of room to operate. Slips on that damp turf. Gets back to a strong hand on his left side. Bounce shot. And backup is by Farrell. 13 seconds to go on the clock. Coates coming down to set a screen for him. Beckett looking for a cutter. 3 seconds. Warner with the big shot. Frisco able to see that all the way. Another save by Aaron Tellez. Into the middle, and Sontag is back on defense. Hayes Hammock, number 9, injured most of the year, but played in the Jesuit game and is easing his way back in, getting his body used to playing again after being out for almost a year. Great to see Hayes back out there. Hayes probably, well, not probably, Hayes the fastest kid on this gold team, and darn near maybe the fastest kid on the blue team too. He can, when he's healthy, he can really run. Fantastic to see Hayes back out here in a Highland Park Scots uniform. Traditional D midi. He's a 2028. He's a sophomore. He figures to be a big part of the club moving forward. Big recruiting summer coming up for Hayes, so he's getting back just in time. John McHugh, our fantastic LSM, is going to have surgery on Friday, so certainly want to extend our prayers out to John and his family. The McHughes have been huge advocates for Highland Park Scots, lacrosse, volunteer in all sorts of different ways, doing PA and anything else that you would ask of them. John, a tremendous LSM in his own right. One of the best players on the squad, especially when it comes to man-on-man defense and getting ground balls. And we certainly wish John a speedy recovery and a safe surgery on Friday. So get better soon, John. And there was a bit of a trash goal here by Frisco. See that ball dancing around in front. Scott's unable to corral that loose ball, but Frisco able to pick that one up and they get on the board first. It's 1-0. Frisco here with 2 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the first.
Frisco goal scored by number 3, Owen McGriddle.
That's a Vizo out there, 1-on-3. Both wingers kind of conceded the ground ball.
Possession, Frisco.
Parker almost came up with it. Highland Park Scots put on a little ride. Frisco looks to be very patient on offense here so far in this game. Comfortable to move it around, and as I say that, they throw it away. But they don't appear to be in a big rush. Certainly not looking to push the ball in transition. Happy to play 6-on-6. That's the second or third clear by Arvizo and his legs. Beckett Farrell dancing on the right side, swinging around. This is Anthony Dewhurst coming down the right side and puts it top left corner. So Anthony Dewhurst, number 15, gets on the board first for the Highland Park Scots. As Heckmer likes to say, with the magic stick. Good to see that first shot go in here. Unassisted down the right alley dodge. We've talked about Anthony's shooting ability throughout the year, and he's got a big shot. Here's Frisco coming right back, ringing the pipes. That'll be a shot clock reset. Frisco getting their substitutions in, offensive players onto the field, rope unit off. Bounce shot. Mason Carvajal's going to get there, and he does. So really heady play there by Mason Carvajal. He cut that Frisco player off. You're technically not allowed to impede the opponent when you're doing that. There is a little bit of gray area. It looks like Mason just walked that line, was able to rub that defender just enough to slow him up while he got to the end line and won that race there, winning the ball for the Highland Park Scots. Max Vogue's here, rolling back to the right, getting his hands free. Shot goes wide. Easy backup for Beckett. Playing a two-man game. Beckett decides not to use it. Bounce shot. Low angle there. Beckett probably could have used another step or two upfield before he released that one. He didn't have a ton of angle, but we were running out of clock. So that's how it's going to end. Your Highland Park Scots tied 1-1. Anthony Dewhurst with the lone goal for the Scotties. We're going to take a break here at the between quarters, and we'll return when the action starts at the second quarter.
Highland Park is proudly powered by title sponsor Vista Bank. Entrepreneurs banking entrepreneurs since 1912. Thank you, Vista Bank, for your continued sponsorship of Highland Park Athletics. Let's go, Scots! I'd like to thank our additional corporate sponsors: JSX, Coco, Sewell Automotive, Macaulay Bonds, Vanillay Hospitality, Fishmark Title, Silky Hills, First Horizon, Oliver Harris Wealth Management, Brooker Law, Jones Allen Perrois, Meadows Collier, Powers Parts, Selling Shooters, and Clay Cooley Auto.
Welcome back to the start of the second quarter here at Highlander Stadium. Your Highland Park Scots in a close one with Frisco, 1-1. It's Parker Avizo out to take the face. Addison, your far side winger, and Jackson Harris, your near side LSM. Your defenders are Stafford Thomason, J.D. Pierce, and Mason Carvajal. Frisco winning it forward. Ball is down on that shot. Loose ball push there. They're going to let Addison restart it from midfield. Frisco putting a little token pressure out on the Scots here. starting to extend their defense out a little bit. Maybe 15 yards. That's Wyatt Garth there, 28, pushing out almost 25 yards there. Daring Henry Leinart to dodge, and that's exactly what Henry does. Finds the open man. Scotty's keeping it hot, moving it around the wheel. Coates over to Leinart, running down the right alley. Loses his footing. And we have a ward on Frisco. So good ride there by Benjamin Coates, number 24, earning a ward call. So a ward is, if you imagine a player, you got to have both hands on your stick. And if you don't have both hands on your stick, you cannot extend the offhand out. You can make it like a crowbar where it's stiff, but you cannot extend that elbow out. So that Frisco player just kind of pushed Coates out of the way with his offhand there, got caught with it, and that was the ward. Beckett Farrell is going to get his hands free, and a good stop there by Frisco. I thought Beckett was going to get himself a goal. If I'm not mistaken, he had 5 or 6 goals the other night. Absolutely had a tremendous game. Gold had so many games last week that each game was running together a little bit. Can't remember exactly which game it was, but he was outstanding. May have been Friday night. Addison coming on, 44. And along with Hayes Hammock, number 9, out to meet the ball carrier. Switch comes on. Good communication by the Scots. Dodge forced harmlessly wide of the cage. Again, Frisco is in no rush offensively. They are happy to move this ball around and milk some clock out. 17 seconds to go on the shot clock. Hands are free, gets into the middle. Good slide by JD, but he's going to get hit with a cross check. It's important for the Scots to get that ball out of bounds, and they do. So JD Pierce came across with an excellent slide. So the movement was great. The error came when he used his stick to make first contact. So if he had slid in body to body without making first contact with his stick, it would have been a textbook slide. Looks like Coach Reese is over there talking to him real quick in the box, explaining a little tip on the technique. JD, one of our better defenders, will pick up that. One of our more coachable kids. You talk to the coaching staff, and they couldn't be happier with how he responds to the coaching. But Frisco makes the Scots pay. They were on their man-up offense, 6-on-5. Able to get their lefty attackman's hands free about 8 yards from the goal. Puts that in, looked near side post, and your Scots are down 1-2. Wingers, Hayes Hammock on the far side. And Jackson Harris, your LSM. That's going to be a trip or a hold on Frisco. Scotty's ball. Here's our lone goal scorer of the evening, Anthony Dewhurst. Max Vogues and Blake Sontag over there, number 19. Blake's been quiet tonight. We'll see if he gets in on the action here. Ball pops loose. And Frisco immediately makes them pay. And your Scots are finding themselves halfway through the second quarter down 3-1. So after a good start by the Scots in that first quarter, Scots unable to get the ball in the net. A couple of good opportunities here for them. Looks like Anthony is going to make a jog to the locker room. He may have broke his stick on that. Ground ball down. Addison's got a bead on it. Scotty's still trying to get it down, and that's J.D. Pierce eventually. That's going to be interference there. J.D. made contact with the Frisco player while trying to get his stick, so that's automatic interference. It's really a tricky little rule. If your stick falls on the ground, you lose control of your stick, you almost have to stand like a statue or make sure you're out of the play, because if you make contact with an opposing player, it's automatically interference. That's what was called there. Good shot there. Better save by Blake Jackson. Ball is on the ground. Scotty's had it for a minute. Parker picks it up. It's a race to the cone. And that's going to be a push with possession. 30-second technical. So Parker able to win a penalty here for the Scots. Scots go man up.
30-second technical.
Looking across the sidelines, it's usually Coach Reese over there coaching the defense. It may be Coach Dunn over there. So Coach Dunn may have stuck around from the blue team practice. Maybe giving some helpful tips to this younger crew as they are, many of them getting ready to graduate the gold program here in just a few short weeks and begin their steady march through the summer and the fall and into January of trying to earn themselves a spot on the blue team. So some of these boys will play some summer tournaments here with the Scots up in Baltimore with the existing blue guys. Some of them will not. And then there's a fall ball for those that don't play football that are boys want to partake in that. It's a couple 3 days a week from September and October. And then tryouts for the blue team will start that first week of January next year. It'll be here before we know it. So these gold guys are getting ready to complete their season here. They've had an absolute marvelous year. Continue to develop, continue to get better, continue to get more competitive. Exactly what we said we thought we would see back in February when we started calling these games. Remember back then we were having missed slides and the offense wasn't quite crisp and the boys hadn't quite figured out their roles. For many of these guys, this is their freshman year, and it's their first year of playing 5 days a week lacrosse, getting really high-level coaching, intense games against boys who are bigger, stronger, and faster than them. And again, like this Frisco team, you've got a lot of juniors and seniors out here on this Frisco team that they're going against. And these Scots have learned to hold their own against a more physical opponent and be able to play and compete with boys just based on their lacrosse ability, their lacrosse IQ. They're trusting one another, the way that they help on defense, the way that they slide together. So really good job here by the gold team. Unlucky bounce there for the Scots. We had a kind of a free clear there to JD, and much like when you're a kid and you tossed a ball, that second hop always scoots forward, and that's what happened there on JD. That ball kicked forward a little bit, couldn't quite catch up to it. Mason with the slide, a little help there. Just what we were talking about. Scotty's doing a good job of keeping their defensive shape. But a man breaks free there, number 88. That's Ben Solong. He's a midfield junior. Apologize if I didn't pronounce your last name right, Ben. Looks like Saline to me. That's what we're going to go with. Number 14, Evan Steinheiser. Out there, part of that as well. So Scotty's here bringing out Colton Brendel, number 37, to take a face-off. Scott's able to force that pass wide. Down 4-1, could certainly use a good offensive possession here. Defense has been on, or under attack, I should say, quite a bit here in this third quarter. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. You'd like to see the offense maybe hold on to this ball for 30 or 40 seconds here kind of before we get started on this offensive set, just to simply give the defense a little bit of reset. Let them take a breath, clear their heads, and get ready for this last little push. Looks like that's what Scotties are going to do, and now they're going to get into the set here. So good job there by the offense, recognizing the situation. Blake Sontag over there, trying to get his hands free, looking for a shot. Sends it low to Beckett. Pass goes out of bounds, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. So not the offensive possession the Scots were hoping for. Certainly would have liked to see a shot in that situation. Frisco comes onsides with the clear. And now their offensive personnel starts to trickle on. Scotty's defensive personnel begins to come on the field. Hayes, Hammock, and Addison, your two short sticks. That's 36, Stafford Thomason out there to meet the ball carrier. Pierce applying pressure. Could have been a moving screen. Referees do not call it. And that was number 6, Maddox Freeman, attackman for the Highland Park Scots, a senior, able to put that one in. Scotties are up 5-1. So this Frisco team has got some older boys on it, some juniors and seniors. We've called their names out, but they're well coached. They're not relying on just their physical advantage. They're working their offense patiently, looking for matchups, and then using effective lacrosse plays, and that one would dodge into the middle, getting his hands free and put a nice shot on the goal. So good for them. Highland Park Scots are offsides. That's number 24, Benjamin Coates. He's offside, so he can go ahead and go. You can't be offsides twice. So Ben Coates, number 24, got called for the offsides there on the ride. He went over the 50-yard line, giving Highland Park Scots 7 guys on that side of the field. So coach goes ahead and sends him over. Can't do any more harm at this point. And Frisco able to get that shot in. So the penalty will be waved off. You can see when the referee picks up the flag and kind of shakes it like you're calling a truce back in a game of war with your buddies, then that means it's waved off and the flag is no longer going to be enforced. But Scotty's under a little bit of attack here. 6-1. This push by Frisco has gone a little bit longer than you would have hoped. You knew that Frisco was going to make a push at some point here in the first half. They're a good team. And you were hoping that maybe you would be able to stop that run at 3 or 4 goals. You know, it started at 1-1. It's now been a 5-0 run. Certainly if the Scotties could have got a goal a couple of goals ago, that would have helped. But the offense needs to run crisply. They need to complete their passes, and they need to get some good shots on goal. So let's see what Spencer Parks, Coach Parks, has to say to the group here. It's a critical junction here for the Scots, being down 6-1. We've seen them come back against teams in the second half before. You just certainly don't want to get down into the 8-1 or 9-1 range here. See if we can end this Frisco run here with 1:21 to go. Lacrosse is certainly a game of runs. You'll see it whether you're watching youth at the middle school level or high school or college or even up in the PLL pro leagues. Teams will score 3 or 4 goals in a row. It's the game. It's the way the game is played. It's the way the momentum happens. And that's what you're seeing here. So it's up to the Scots defenders and goalie here to make a play, get that ball back up to the offense, and then it's the offense's job to get one of these in the net, stem the tide, and rebalance the equilibrium a little bit. We'll see what the Scotties have in store here. 50 seconds left to go in the half, and shot clock and game clock are almost dead on. So Frisco can hold for the last shot if they choose to. Seeing as how they've run their offense patiently this half, I would expect them to do that, except Mason Carbajal. Able to make a play, just what we were talking about. We needed the defender to make a play and get it up there to the offense, and that's exactly what Mason did. And Parker Vizo uses his legs to clear that ball. So well done by Mason. Another errant pass by the Scots. Warner able to keep it in, continues to keep it in. Anthony able to pick it up there for a second.
Penalty flag down.
And really kind of a unfortunate play there by number 24 on Frisco. Caleb Finley, LSM, junior. Anthony picked up that ball and was out of bounds. Referees blew it, and he gave Anthony a pretty good shove, who came and hit that railing. He seems to be okay. Scotties have the ball, man-up situation, so they will have the ball at the start of the third quarter in a man-up situation. So we're going to take a break here at halftime. We're going to regroup along with the Highland Park Scots as they regroup in the locker room. And we'll return here in about 10 minutes at the start of the third quarter.
This time, we'd like to honor the support of this year's Champions Club members, including the Busey family, the Henry family, the Brown family, the Cleary family, the Carlson family, the Harris family, the Prater family, the Pinkoff family, the Thomason family, the Schilling family, the Foster family, the Farrell family, the Silva family, the White family, the Vince family, the Doolin family, the Gearing family, the Powers family, the Bogues family, the Rudder family, the Faria family, the Owens family, the Highlander family, the Beggar family, the Mason family, the Mazzotti family, the Murphy family, the John Paul and Christy Merrick family, the Hamner family, the Susan and Bob Gentleman family, the Smetko family, the Sherman family, the Mizell family, the Skillen family, the Walsh family, the Wynn family, the Musa family, the Levis family, the Starr family, the Vaughn family, the Sweetland family, the Clark family, the Schultes family, the Heinlein family, the Gray family, the Myers family, the Bradley family, the Root family, the Shuey family, the Wood family, the James Thompson family, the Brodsky family, the Hips family, the Matthew Fritz family, the Tom Harris family, the Leszewski family, the Stuart Brown family, the Coleman Brown family, and the Eastman family. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to mark your calendars for Friday night. Out of the Park travels to the Episcopal School of Dallas. Gold plays at 5 p.m., followed by Varsity Blue at 7 p.m. Just a little social media reminder, you can't make the game in person. All varsity games are live streamed on Game On Sports.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the Highlanders versus Frisco Gold Team game tonight at Highlander Stadium. Scott's down 6-1. Certainly appreciate all of the texts at halftime. Got a little bit of information on some of the Frisco players and nuggets of fun facts that we'll be able to drop throughout the rest of the broadcast. Your Scots, if you remember, were holding on to the ball at the end of the second quarter on a man-up situation when Anthony Dewhurst got pushed into the sidelines there. So the Scots will retain possession to start the third quarter. We'll be in a man-up situation. Great to see number 15, Anthony Dewhurst, out on the field. Doesn't look to have any ill effects there. Certainly happy to see that. Looks like number 24, Caleb Finley, the LSM junior, is in the box. Caleb, a cousin of Max Vogue's. So we have a little bit of family members playing against each other here at Highlander Stadium tonight. And Caleb's going to watch the next minute or so from the sidelines. There's Blake working through. Warner bends. Warner, high shot. Aaron Tellez able to see that one all the way. Frisco's got some good-looking athletes. That's Aiden Main, D. Mitty, senior there. Mason Carbajal, they're called for the cross-check, I believe. That's going to be a flag down on Mason. Penalty looks to be not released yet for
Offsides the call. It's Tyler Parker's technical violation.
Excuse me, that is a 30-second technical offsides call. So Caleb Finley is still in the box for Frisco, and looks like Benjamin Coates is in the box on that offsides for Highland Park. And now Caleb is released, and it is 6-on-5. Ball loose in the middle. Good job by the Scots getting out there. Second half goalie, number 18, Jacob Musa. So Jacob, the freshman, is in the goal for the Highland Park Scots. The wheels coming around. Scotty is able to deflect that shot. Scots continue to put pressure. That is Coach Dunn over there on the sidelines for the Scots. So Coach Reese getting the night off. Coach Dunn, the all-world coach here for the Scotties, able to give these younger players a good feel of what the big ball club coaching staff will be like here in a game situation. Invaluable learning experience for them. Scotties with 7 seconds to clear. Bounce shot. Loose. Frisco picks it up. It's going to be a failure to clear for the Scots. And Frisco immediately makes them pay, going down 7-1. So a bit of an Achilles heel for these Scots this season has been their ability to successfully clear the ball. And unfortunately, it comes and raises its ugly head again there. Hayes Hammock, number 9, short side winger. Jackson Harris, your LSM. Parker stays in as his usual D-midi position. Hayes Hammock out to meet the ball carrier. Frisco rolling into the middle. Shot goes wide. That's going to have the backup by Frisco. 9:08 to go, 50 seconds on the clock. Mason able to force a tough shot there. Gave up top side, but was able to get his hands in the shooting lane. Kind of a loose ball situation there for Scots. Much needed clear. Good ground ball by Coates. And Scotties get their offensive personnel in with Sontag over there with the ball. Dewhurst. And Mac Mason, number 25. Beckett trying to get inside, looking to get his hands free. Here's Blake coming in the middle, rolls back, loses the ball. That is going to be a call. That is interference, so that is a call against Frisco. What happened there is Blake lost the ball. I don't think the Frisco player knew that Blake lost the ball. So Blake was trying to go pick the loose ball up. That Frisco player was still playing Blake like he had the ball and was pushing on him. You're not allowed to impede a guy from getting the ball. Hence the interference call and the ball awarded to the Scots. That was Beckett Farrell coming up the left side with the bounce shot. Aaron Tellez has had a fantastic night. 22, the junior goalie. Loose ball. Anthony Dewhurst able to pick that up. Gets away from the sidelines. Up to Hayes. Jackson Harris over there applying all sorts of pressure, trying to get that ball back for the Scots. Frisco dummy dodges into the middle to occupy the defense while the rest of their offensive personnel gets on the field. And here they go. That's Griffin Green, number 77. Will Langleford, 91. Bounce shot there by Grant Buzzboom, number 9. Mason Carvajal out to pick up Frisco. Scotty's extending their defense all the way out, trying to create some pressure and successfully forces a wide pass. So for those of you who have watched some of the Blue games, there's Hayes using his speed. We talked about how quick he was and how fast he was. He uses his speed there as a one-man clear. But for some of you that have watched the Blue games this year, you'll notice that the Highland Park Scots, and particularly under Coach Dunn, will push their defense out. They'll extend their defense 35 or 40 yards out, trying to use their athleticism, trusting their teammates to be there for the slide. And as this game is going on, the Scots needing to make some plays on defense. That's what they do. And there's a great pass by Beckett Farrell, finding Ben Coates there on the inside crease. Scotty's finally end this run that has gone on for almost 2 quarters. So Anthony Dewhurst tied the game up at 1 apiece here, maybe 5 to 7 minutes into the game. And then the Scotties went 2 quarters without getting another tally on the board. And there's Ben Coates, number 24, able to stop the run officially and get himself his first goal of the evening, with Beckett Farrell getting his assist for the evening. Scots continue to push out here. They were able to force a turnover last time down, resulted in an offensive possession and a score for the Scots. That's Thomason matching feet, stick for stick. The slide comes over. And Scott's not able to slide back in time. That was 22. No, excuse me, my old eyes. 23 perhaps? Sebastian Laura, 23. Appreciate Cade Hamner on the PA helping me out with that one. So Scotty's lost their shape there a little bit. They had a slide come over and they double teamed the ball. Left 1 too few players on the backside, and I couldn't quite get that going. Parker Avizo does a nice job riding his player out of bounds and getting a forced turnover. Bit of a collision there in midfield with Blake Sontag. He seems to be okay. Mac Mason, 25, down to Warner Benz, over to Beckett. Up here to Blake. Blake's got the shorty. And Mac's got the shorty, back to Blake. It's going to be Blake's turn. He's going to roll back in. Rolling back left. Bounce shot, saved by the Scots. Picked up by Anthony Dewhurst momentarily. Ball is back on the ground. Scrum in the back. And Scotties. 99, Aiden Main, senior. Really big kid. fast, athletic, strong. Could really see him moving here at a different speed than a lot of these other boys. Henry Leinart, haven't seen him in a little bit. He's back in the game, number 3 for the Scots, along with number 9, Hayes Hammock, out to meet the ball carrier. Here's Hayes. Going to go ahead and give him the inside. Hayes staying right with him, feet for feet. Big crowd favorite over there at Hayes. Mason Carvajal's had himself a really nice game again. I'm not sure over the last 16 months if there's been a player who's improved quite as much as Mason Carvajal. He's came in as a freshman and pretty raw, hadn't played a ton of lacrosse, and is quickly becoming a playmaker on the defense for the Highland Park Scots. He's a strong, athletic kid. Gets a lot of ground balls. Just been an absolute pleasure to watch him develop and turn himself into a really, really valuable asset for these Scots and this program. Certainly looks to be someone who's going to be a contributor here at the big club at some point. So happy for Mason and his continued development. Here's going to be an open shot, Henry Leinart. We've gone high on this goalie a number of times. Aaron seems to be seeing the ball really well. The Scots are going to have to change the plane on the shots, whether that's a bounce shot or whether it's going low or whether it's to get in tight. But the 12 to 14 yard high-to-high shots do not appear to be having much success here for the Scotties. Defensively, Henry Leinart out to meet the ball. JD 10 enjoying himself. You can hear the crowd getting a little ruckus. They enjoy the physical prowess and the physicality of the defense. There's a little bounce shot that gets through there for Owen McReynolds, midfielder junior for the Scotties. One probably Jacob wants back. A 12-yard bounce shot. Certainly seen Jacob make that save before, but one of those nights for the Scots where it seems like a lot of their shots have ground balls with eyes. They're getting in. Scotty's having hard trouble breaking in on the other side. Score is 9-2. Ball continues to be down. Jackson Harris fighting for it, keeping it on the ground. Parker Visa coming up with it. Addison filling the lane in the middle. Parker wisely brings it back to the offensive unit as they come in. That's Dewhurst and Mason. Sontag waiting to come in. Addison out. Sontag in. Scotty's ready to go with their offensive unit. Blake went ahead and changed planes there. He went low on him, didn't go high, but again, it was a 12 to 14 yard shot, and those are just not getting past Aaron tonight. Good goalie. Some of that is there's a big shot there by number 91, Will Langford, midfielder, sophomore. Some of that is the physicality of Frisco. It's a bigger, stronger team at this point than the Scots, and so the Scotties are having trouble on their dodges getting to the inside. On their one-on-one, they've got to have to move the ball and reverse the ball side to side quicker. Get Frisco moving left and right laterally before those dodges to try and get a little head start on them. Try and see if they can get those shots 2 to 3 yards closer. Frisco able to put another shot in there from 12 yards as the quarter was winding down. Two seconds left to go. Aviso out. Quick whistle, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. So your Scots are down 2-10. We're going to take a quick break and catch our breath along with the boys on the field. And we'll be back for the final 12 minutes of Highlander lacrosse here for the 2026 season when we return. Scotties with the face-off win there. Much needed win for the Scotties as they start the fourth quarter. Vogues and Sontag out. With a little bit of pep in their step along with Henry Leinart, number 3. Here's Beckett dancing. Thought about getting his hands free and shooting. I thought he might have released it there. Decides to move on. Blake with a pole running up left. He's going to shoot. Good shot there. Saved by the Frisco goalie, but a much better offensive possession there for the Scotties. They were able to get in tight, get their hands free, and make the goalie make a really hard save, but certainly a better offensive possession for the Scots. Great to see there. You know, the Scots have been down before throughout the season, and one of the trademarks of this team is that there is no quit in these boys. They will continue to fight and continue to battle throughout this fourth quarter, regardless if it's 2-10 or 10-2. These boys understand that they are Highland Park Scots and that effort is not an option. They are competitive by nature in everything they do, and certainly represent Highland Park Scots very, very well here on the gold team. Shots coming up. Jacob Musa with the save. Scotty's looking better here in the fourth quarter, moving better. Musa had a nice save there, was able to see that ball. Vogues up to Benz. Max sends it over there to Mac. Max sends it to Mac, who sends it back to Max. Lefty shot, and that one gets in. That's number 21, Max Vogues. So Max, the cousin of number 24, Caleb Finley, now has something to chirp his cousin about over Christmas and 4th of July. Certainly, I'm sure there'll be videos of that goal being sent back and forth. Caleb, an excellent player in his own right, is going to be headed up playing lacrosse at the Division I school of Mercyhurst next year. Mercyhurst plays in the Northeast Conference. The Northeast Conference had lacrosse for many years, disbanded for a few years and has now reconvened. You've got Long Island University in that league. You've got Robert Morris. You've got Mercyhurst. You've got VMI, along with a few others. Mercyhurst, if I'm not mistaken, is up in the Buffalo area. Not positive on that, but do believe it's up near that neck of the woods. Be a little chillier than it is in Frisco. Here's Beckett Farrell, number 4, and he gets in. And just like that, your Scots are back 10-4. Beckett Farrell with his first goal of the game. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist. Max Voges has a goal that we talked about. Benjamin Coates, number 24, and Anthony Dewhurst, 15, your goal scorers for the Highland Park Scots. 8:36 to go. Just when I was talking about the Scotties having a little more pep in their step to start the 4th quarter, you could see it in their body language. Here they are, scoring 2 in a row, making this a respectable lacrosse contest here at Highlander Stadium. Addison, 44. Addison's a strong kid. You can see it on TV. You can see it from here. He's barrel-chested, athletic. Really kind of has a great D-midi body, a good D-midi mentality. I think he's going to be a good one for the Scots. J.D. Pierce applying pressure. Not a lot happening for Frisco. They move off that matchup. There's Thomason. Good save by Jacob Musa, seeing the ball better here in the 4th quarter. 3 saves in a row for the Moose. Up there. And Scotties have it, just a couple of seconds to get it over the clock and successfully clear. So looking confident on their clear, confident in their defense, confident in their goalkeeping, and confident on offense. The Highland Park Scots making a push. We talked about Frisco's push in the 2nd and 3rd quarter. Scotties making a push of their own here. Continue to move it. There's Max. Over here to Benjamin Coates. There's a high check. He's inside. The bounce shot just gets wide. Sontag got inside. That's going to be a big shot, and the Scotties are in with another one. That is Beckett Farrell with his 2nd goal of the game. And don't look now, but the Scotties are making a push. 10-5. You know, we had talked about hoping that push by Frisco would have ended at 5 or 6. It got up to 8 or 9, and that's where it's now challenging because the Scotties are making their own push. 3 unanswered here to start the 4th quarter, but they've still got work to do. It's 10-5. There wasn't any question that your Highland Park Scots were going to roll over and end the season here on a down note. They were always going to fight, and that's what they do. So we're going to take a break here while Frisco calls timeout and the action continues. We will be back.
sponsors the Baking Entrepreneurs. Baking Entrepreneurs since 1912.
Scotty's come out on defense. Frisco called a timeout there. Coach did not like that push that the Scotties are on. Nice little run by Highland Park. 3 in a row. Let's see what Frisco has dialed up here. 58 seconds left to go in the shot clock. I'd expect Frisco to go back to taking long possessions here. Pushing around. Good slide by Parker. They get inside. The Moose was there. Shot goes wide. No reset. 39 seconds on the clock. Screen on the left side. Switch comes. Avizo with a really nice slide there. Forces wide. Jackson Harris, number 14, on the ball carrier. Thomason able to force a turnover and the ground ball. Uses the wheels to get upfield. Ball is down. Thomason back with the ball. It is down again. Frisco looks to have come up with it. Oh, and there's going to be a flag on the play. So unfortunate turn of events there. They're going to catch Highland Park Scots with a trip with possession, I believe. It'll be a 1-minute penalty. Waiting for the referee to give that call.
Highland number 7 called push with possession. 30-second technical violation.
So it's only a push with possession. It is not a trip. So a trip with possession would have been a minute. Referees call a push with possession, which is a technical. It's a less dangerous play. Trips are usually involve sticks between legs as players are running. Which obviously can be dangerous. They try and limit that, so they give a 1-minute penalty for those. And if you push a guy in the back, then it's a 30-second tackle. Shot hit the crossbar there, ricocheted out of bounds. Highland Park Scots were closest to the ball. So it's their possession, but they are man down still. So they're going to have to clear this ball. There's your man right there in the midfield. He's going to have to use his legs. He gets through. That's Max Vogues, 21, clearing the ball for the Scots. They continue to be down by a man. Scotty's call timeout. 4:21 left to go, 50 seconds on the shot clock. It's still running. They're going to have to check on that. And we're going to be back after this. Welcome back. Shot clock has been rectified at 58. Would be remiss not to thank the cameraman and engineer Cookie tonight, who's always over here, the man behind the scenes bringing you the broadcast. No one better in the business than Cookie. Always enjoy working with you, sir. Appreciate all of the extraordinary work you do for the Highland Park Scots and Game On Sports. Scotty's coming around. That's Beckett Farrell. Blake Sontag's going to have a shot at it. Slips out of his stick. Ball is still down. That's going to be a push. I thought. I guess not. Scotty's still fighting for the ball. They pick it up momentarily. Max Vogues has got it. Scotty's with a great ride over there. Absolutely tenacious ride by the Scots to get that ball back. Here's Henry Leinart. He's got some green space. He had the corner. Almost put it in there. Good looking shot by the captain, Henry Leinart. Big little game going. Farrell over there. Able to move that ball over to Warner Benz. Warner's had a quiet night tonight. Rolling back left, coming in. Bounce shot, got deflected before Warner really let go of that ball. Ended up little knuckleball, two-hopper going into the goalie's stick. Here's Caleb, the Division I Mercyhurst defender, making that clear. And Jackson Harris putting the pressure on the Frisco ball carrier. About 2.5 minutes to go. Scotty's maybe running out of time a little bit, but not going to stop them from making plays. There's J.D. Pierce over there trying to get that ball up. Was able to get the ball on the ground, but unable to pick it up. We're going to have the referees called his timeout. We have something with the shot clock going on here. I think what happened there is when that ball went down, J.D. Pierce looked like he was picking it up, and I think we got a shot clock reset a little prematurely. We don't have the ability here to digitally reset the shot clock, so we have to manually just let it run down. We'll see where the referees want it to be. Looks like we're getting close here. 42, 41, 40. They're going to whistle it in here. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Play resumes here for Frisco. JD out there continuing to cause havoc. He's had a nice game today. Another cause turnover and a ground ball. Right on cue, JD making me look good. Great play by JD. Goes up to Hayes. Hayes is coming with the hard shot, and Hayes Hammock gets himself on the board today. His second game back in about a year. And has an excellent shot for number 9, Hayes Hammock. We got one for your highlight video, buddy. Great to see you back out there, Hayes. Cannot be happier for you. And the Scotties pull up 6-10. I've known Hayes for a long time. Great kid, fierce competitor. Unlucky streak of injuries here the last 18 months. And I cannot tell you how excited the Scots are and all of these boys are to see Hayes Hammock back out on the field today. Fantastic to see. Good job, Hayes.
Shot live. Possession Frisco.
Musa wanted the call. Doing his best to explain to the referee he was closer. Scott's giving a little token double team there with Musa chasing the ball for a minute. They got 2 on the ball now. Here comes Musa. Scotties need a back, down by 4 with a minute to go. They got a chance here. And Scotties get the ball. So Parker pushed the gentleman out of bounds. Wasn't malicious, but unfortunately there was the water cooler right there. It looks like we have a timeout. So Highland Park has the ball because you cannot call a timeout if you were in it. Well, it's a dead ball, so you could call a timeout. I think it is Highland Park ball. I think that was a clean play. I did not see a whistle or hear a whistle. I did not see a flag. So we're going to go off to the presumption that Parker Vizo had a good defensive play there and was able to win that ball back for the Scots. A minute 06 to go. Scotty's down by 4. Certainly Vegas doesn't like these odds, but stranger things have happened. Defenders for Frisco jogging to the defensive side of the field. Defenders and a short sticks coming to the defensive side of the field for the Scots. It appears that maybe Frisco called timeout before that ball went out of bounds. That's what I'm going to go with. It is Frisco ball. Tossed into the corner and chased down. Empty net goal for the Frisco, and that will just about do it here for the Highland Park Scots. Down 6-11. They pulled Jacob and didn't have a choice but to rotate quickly, try and catch up to the ball, get a steal, force a turnover. Long odds here for the Scotties, but game is not over. Parker Vizo with the face-off win. Neutral draw, ended up getting picked up by Caden Ryan, midfielder, senior here. Mason Carbajal giving chase. Ryan able to outrun the Scots defense. Mason out, give chase again. 26 seconds left to go on the clock. Scotties continue to put pressure on Frisco. Interception by J.D. Pierce. Sends it down to Warner Benz. Went wide, and that's going to do it. Your Highland Park Scots 6, Frisco 11. For Josh Zelke and Game On Sports, want to thank y'all for tuning in. And don't forget, both the gold and the blue team take on ESD Friday evening, 5 and 7:30. Come on out to ESD on Midway if you're in Dallas. If not, tune in to Game On Sports. Both games will be broadcast. For Game On Sports and Highland Park Scots, have a wonderful night. We'll see you down the road.